How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a brand new video. Feel free to connect with us on Snapchat. All that being said, today we have some very exciting news to talk about TRON TRX. It seems as if TRON's competition, Facebook, is completely driving their company into the ground. And this is happening across the board with Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, you name it. All these different platforms which provide media and ultimately had a monopoly on that sector of the internet really are opening up the door for TRON to really trample them into the dust. The future of the decentralized internet and the way that they're leveraging cryptocurrency to essentially overtake these different platforms. It's amazing to see what's happening in this time. So let's get into it. We are witnessing history in the making as far as the decline of these old social media platforms. Twitter and Facebook continuously receiving bad press, really developing a terrible reputation with all this censorship that they're engaging in. And ultimately, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, these old companies, even YouTube to a certain extent, all of them included, are essentially driving themselves into the ground, and they're getting cheered on by CNBC, all these old media, Bloomberg, all these old media providers, these grandparent, grandfather, nobody even watches them except for they put CNBC on at the new, they put it on at the old elderly house to put it on for the old people so that they can watch it and feel like there's somebody else in the room with them. And ultimately, these CNBC, they're all the same. The Fox News, all these different news platforms are taking hits at Facebook and Twitter left and right. And since Facebook and Twitter have already shown that they're willing to censor their user bases, it's really going to be a downward spiral from here on out. They've already shown that they're willing to collaborate in taking down CNBC's competition. And to this extent, you could tell that CNBC isn't going to let up. They're going to continue to basically put the pressure on Facebook and Twitter and these social media sites to really continue to abuse their user base. And you could see it in the news headlines all over the place. Twitter and Facebook need a cleanup, and then of course talking about the various different people who are getting banned on these different platforms every single day. It's interesting to see how this is a great window of opportunity opening up for TRON TRX, which is making alliances with BitTorrent and these different parts of the internet that were already competitors to YouTube and Facebook and Twitter to a certain extent. And of course, we think about how the internet functioned before YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, and that's ultimately where the internet is starting to trend in that sort of direction now, as we're witnessing this, because essentially people were using Twitter and Facebook for 10-15 years because they were functioning correctly. But now we've come to 2018 and things just aren't functioning correctly, and it's essentially going to create a social media vacuum, because who's going to use Facebook and Twitter if they're going to continue to algorithmically manipulate what the people who are using their website are actually using it for? It's ridiculous. And it opens up a great opportunity for decentralized platforms like TRON TRX and cryptocurrency as a whole to ultimately rise up and now fully compete with these old really dying legacy platforms, and Google included. TRON TRX could soon become the Google of the blockchain. Here's what I mean by Global Coin Report, another interesting article. I think that Google really is in a run for its money too, as far as the blame that's getting thrown around from the agitated user bases that are really getting sick and tired of the way that these old social media platforms that have become too popular for their own good, they become too mainstream for their own good. YouTube is trying to become Netflix, and Twitter is trying to be like TV, and they're really going to run into the same problems that cable is running into. You see, the fundamental reason why people are using Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and all these things. At least originally, the reason why they were using these platforms to begin with was because people were getting tired of the way that the news and all these different things and censorship functions on regular cable TV. And the more that YouTube starts to look like TV, the more people are going to ultimately begin to lose interest in. Oh, I mean, I don't blame them. I think that the decentralized approach to the internet is ultimately going to open up a huge window of opportunity, and it's a very exciting time to see where TRON is right now in the overall context of this. I think that Justin Sun's definitely a very forward-thinking individual as far as how he sees the decentralization of the internet playing a really fundamental role in how we see the unfolding of the way that people are going to be interacting on the marketplace of ideas. I think that as TRON continues to develop and as they continue to align themselves with BitTorrent and these various different acquisitions, I think that we could be expecting some very interesting things happening for TRON, in particular as we move along the next few years, as we see the swift and steady decline of Facebook and we see the decline of YouTube. Sad to say, I wish Facebook and YouTube would just act the way that they're supposed to. I wish that they would just run their platforms in a way that doesn't interfere with the way that the users interact with the content. And I really hope that this will be a lesson learned for these new up and rising cryptocurrency platforms that seek to provide media. That's really one of the essential lessons that needs to be learned here. And I think that through blockchain and through these different things, cryptocurrency could provide a safe haven for that side of the internet that really does sort of have that desire for the unmanipulated sort of social media. We already see, BitChute has been rising up and adopting to a cryptocurrency method, and they've actually become a very successful alternative to YouTube that's been rising up. And of course, I definitely recommend that you guys go and check out BitChute and all these different platforms where a lot of familiar faces from YouTube and so forth have been basically forced to go. So a lot of interesting things, because there's certain stuff that they don't allow on other platforms anymore, and all these new these TRON and BitChute. It's very exciting times to see how these cryptocurrencies have been leveraging the end of an old paradigm and the beginning of a new one, and it's going to be a very interesting step-by-step process to see how society is going to be interacting with this transition, but it's one that needs to happen. And all that being said, I hope that you guys subscribe to the channel, and also remember, I'm not a financial advisor. This video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. I am very excited though to see where TRON is going to be headed from this point on forward. Certainly we do have a bumpy road ahead of us with the market being where it is, and of course Bitcoin dominance incredibly at 53.2% now, yeah, but overall, I'm definitely interested in seeing where TRON is going to go from here on out. I do believe that they have a strong team behind them, a really strong team working on the project. And of course, there really is also a strong community that's built itself around TRON as well. So moving forward, we definitely can be expecting some really interesting things to be happening on the international level, in particular with this new paradigm shift that we're witnessing happening, where people are beginning to demand more from the platforms that they use, and they really should, because it's an interesting time to see. There's so many different options out there. There's really no need to deal with the problems that Twitter and so forth, because they're going to drive themselves into the ground. It's no way to run a platform like Twitter if they're trying to determine what people say on their platform. It just doesn't work like that. And I think that we will see TRON and the decentralization of the internet rising up over the next year and a half, and ultimately it will show, it won't tell, it will show what's in for the future and how the internet is going to operate using this new paradigm. But yeah, all that being said, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this content. Also, like, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and of course, if you guys are interested, you can connect with us on our Twitter. I'll be including a link to the Twitter down in the description below. And yeah, all that being said, if you guys are interested, make sure that you connect with us on Snapchat. And yeah, all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it educational, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.